Okay. So thank you for being here for this chakra clearing and balancing practice. So I wanted to share just a little bit about how I came to be interested in this, or why I'm even bringing this to you as a practice. And it's really, I think you could call it a meditation. You could also call it a visualization. So we're going to use affirmations and visualization and mindfulness of the breath. So some different things put together. And I actually did the yoga teacher training, the 200-hour yoga teacher training in summer 2018. And I began teaching mostly at Pride Lines and then other places here and there, basically this is a yoga practice. So what I try to do is engage all of the senses. So I want to invite you all right now, if there's anything you can do in your environment, maybe, and also if we're in our home or a place where we occupy all the time, sometimes we don't see it clearly, right? Because we're so used to seeing it that our mind just kind of, treats it as it is or it's always been. And so I invite you to, just take a moment, take a deep breath in through the nose, open the mouth, exhale, drop the shoulders, let go, let yourself sink into your seat a little bit, get yourself comfortable. Take another deep breath through the nose, filling the low belly. And exhale out the nose or the mouth, whichever you like. And just push every last bit of air out. And look around your space, the room that you're in, and just see if there's anything you can do maybe to make it a little bit more relaxing. Maybe turning down the lights, closing the blinds a little bit. I have essential oils. So I have like my little diffuser with, I think today I have lavender and lemongrass, maybe lighting a candle or incense. I always think about engaging as many senses as possible when I teach this yoga class. So I engage the body or the feeling sense through the postures, the sight through visualization, which we'll do today. People hear the sound of my voice and they repeat affirmations to themselves. We'll also do that today. And then I engage scent through essential oils. So basically for each chakra, and I'll talk in a minute about what the chakra system is, just very briefly in case you don't know much about it. And I have a different scent, different essential oil that I spray in the room when I teach the yoga class to just kind of clear, to bring some more awareness to that chakra and what that chakra is meant to do. So for example, the root chakra is all about safety and security. So I use a really grounding scent, like like a fir or a spruce, like a very old tree, something very earthy to kind of activate that root chakra, to clear it, to balance it. So think about, what you could do maybe to just make your space a little more pleasing, make sure that you're nice and relaxed in your posture, and just begin to focus on the breath. So I learned about the chakra system when I did yoga teacher training because this is a part of ancient Indian knowledge. So it aligns with a lot of the yoga philosophy. And so it's basically a framework for holistic health. So each of the chakras, so there are 7 in the body, align with a different place in the body, right? So right down your spine from the very tip of your tailbone, all the way to the crown of your head. The idea is that you have these energy centers at these 7 places, up the spine, so vertically in the body, and they are associated with these different areas of life. So the lower 3 chakras, safety and security, creativity and flexibility, power and control. Then there's the heart chakra, which connects the lower 3 and the higher 3 chakras. And the heart chakra, maybe as you would guess, is all about love, to be able to give and receive love unconditionally. And then the higher 3 chakras are first the throat, which is associated with clear, authentic communication, self-expression. The third eye chakra is associated with intuition, our ability to trust ourselves completely, and some would even say psychic abilities, right? These kind of sixth senses or, spiritual, maybe metaphysical kind of gifts that, some people believe that we all have that can be developed. And then the top chakra, the 7th chakra, is the crown chakra. And the crown chakra is associated with spirituality and our connection to all that is, the universe, the divine. You know, people understand that, I think, in different cultures and different religions, different ways, but many cultures and religions have this idea, right, that we are connected to something outside the material world, the spiritual realm, if you will. And what's really fascinating to me too is that there are scholars, right? Religious scholars, anthropologists. One is Carolyn Myss, and she wrote this really great book. She considers herself a medical intuitive, but she aligns the chakra system with the Sephirots of Judaism, which is the tree of life that's part of Jewish mysticism or the Kabbalah, and also the sacraments, which are, you know, part of the Christian tradition. So I love that these seem to be universal principles. And if you think about it, I think it makes a lot of sense, right? To live in the material world, we need to feel secure and grounded, utilize our creativity and be flexible, be able to exercise power and control, and, you know, to love and be loved, to communicate and express ourselves, to follow our intuition and have some meaning or purpose in our lives could be one way to express that spiritual or seventh chakra. So this is just a little more information on the chakras, so you can kind of see where each one is in the body. And we're going to go through, and I'm going to give you a visualization for each chakra, an affirmation, and just guide you through a process of sort of checking in with each of the chakras. And then, like I said, depending on how time goes, I have some reflective questions, and I can certainly send this out to everybody as well. All right. So here we go. These are our questions. So let's see, I'll take it back here. So if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, maybe fix your gaze on something a little bit down in terms of, you know, a downward gaze, something that's pleasing. It's good to concentrate on a single spot or an area. And just begin to focus on the breath. Notice how it feels coming in through your nose. Maybe put a hand on the belly and feel your hand rise as you inhale. And as you exhale, feel the air come out through your nose as your belly contracts. So we'll start with focusing on the root chakra. So on your next inhale, just bring a little attention to that space, you know, wherever you're seated, where your spine would come down onto the chair. Just imagine like a circle of energy there, the color red. Breathe into it. And as you exhale, silently repeat to yourself, I am safe, secure, and grounded. Inhaling deeply. As you exhale, I am safe, secure, and grounded. We'll take another few breaths, focusing on the tip of the tailbone, that root chakra. And now as you breathe in, imagine the color red, like the color of the earth, and imagine roots, dark red like the earth roots, coming down from that space, that tip of the spine, all the way down into the center of the earth. Just drilling down into the earth, knowing that you're always supported, always secure, and grounded by Mother Earth. Inhaling one or two last times. And as you exhale, try to relax and release anything that no longer serves you. If anything comes up for you, feeling a little anxious, feeling a little unsettled, just breathe into it, acknowledge it. And as you exhale, try to just let it go down the roots. Just release it through the tip of the tailbone into the earth. And now moving on to the sacral chakra. So you want to feel the place, if you can feel where your hip bones are, or even sort of where your torso bends forward, just below the belly button in the space between the hips. Breathe into that space. And as you exhale, just notice if there's anything there. Inhaling again. Imagine orange waves, maybe like the ocean or a river, or maybe like orange light from the sun. radiating onto these waves in your belly, just flowing, not forcing, not pushing, just naturally allowing there to be a flow. You can also match this flow to the flow of your breath. Inhaling, imagine the waves maybe go in one direction, and exhaling, imagine them flowing whatever direction they want to flow in. And inhaling into your sacral chakra, that space between your hips, and exhaling, I am creative, flexible, and I flow through life with ease. I am creative, flexible, and I flow through life with ease. We'll take a few more breaths here. Maybe you want to put your hands or a hand on your belly. And inhale, notice any sensations around your belly. Notice how you feel in that area. And as you exhale, let go. Let the waves just carry anything that no longer serves you away. We tend to carry a lot of emotion in our hips. And I will show you all or give you all some information on yoga postures that are good for relaxing and releasing each of the areas of the body that align with the chakras. So let's take one more deep breath into the belly, into the sacral chakra. And as you exhale, relax, release. Moving up to the solar plexus chakra. So this chakra is about maybe like a couple inches above the belly button, underneath the heart and above the belly button. Inhale into that space. It kind of feels, to me, I feel kind of like a spaciousness here. So as I inhale, I can kind of feel, it's kind of like where like your lower chest cavity is, or maybe just below it. And exhale, let go. This is a good one if you want to open your mouth again and make it loud. Let your voice out. Inhaling deeply through the nose into your solar plexus, and exhale if you want, open the mouth. And really just let go, let the breath go, let the voice go. If your voice wants to make a noise, let it. This is the chakra associated with power and courage, being brave, overcoming fears and doubts. So we'll spend a little bit of time here. Inhaling into the solar plexus, exhaling, visualizing yellow flames in your belly. You might even, I mean, it's whatever works for you, but you may visualize like a little flame. This is kind of what I like to do. And as I inhale, almost like I'm kind of stoking the flame, as I exhale, you know, it's sparking and it's really lighting up that fire in your belly. And you can think about any fears, thoughts of lack or doubts that you have. And as you inhale, just acknowledge maybe any kind of limiting beliefs you may have. And as you exhale, imagine that fire, that flame in your belly, just burning them away. So inhaling, picturing those yellow flames in the belly. And exhaling, just burning away, relaxing, releasing away any fear, any doubt, any limiting beliefs that you have. Inhaling. As you exhale, repeating to yourself, I am powerful and courageous. I am powerful and courageous. Yoga twists, any kind of twisting exercises are good to like ignite that flame in your spine and your solar plexus. And again, at the end, I'll give you some postures that you can use to clear and balance and activate each of the chakras. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And if you want to be kind of active, this is a chakra that's good to be a little bit more active, to activate. You can put your hands on your belly, or maybe one kind of below your chest and one on your belly, and inhale deeply through the nose. And as you exhale, you can do it through the nose or the mouth. Just push that air out Like give it a little force, give it a little push out. So let's maybe do a couple breaths like that. Inhaling deeply into the belly and the solar plexus, and exhaling, really pushing out every last bit of air. One more time. Dropping the shoulders, relaxing, releasing, letting go of anything holding you back. I am powerful and courageous. Moving on to the heart chakra. Breathing into just basically the very center of the chest. You have like a little kind of crevice right in the center of your chest. You can imagine the heart chakra originating from there if it feels good, or generally whatever feels good for you, feel it out. Don't think too much. Inhaling, imagining a translucent, brilliant, beautiful green light radiating from the center of your chest. I am unconditionally loved and loving. You might want to pull your shoulders back a little bit, see if you can get your shoulder blades to touch in the back, lift the head if you want. Really, if it feels comfortable for you, really kind of just open up your heart. And imagine that green light just radiating out, sending love to yourself, sending love to everyone in this group, to your family, to people next to you, your neighbors, every creature on earth. Just imagine radiating that pure love out from your heart, and also being open to receiving it from yourself, from all that is. Inhaling, visualizing that brilliant green light, maybe opening up the chest. Exhaling, I am unconditionally loved and loving. And let's stay here just for a couple breaths, whatever feels comfortable. Inhaling, just noticing any thoughts that arise, feelings, sensations. And as you exhale, maybe just send them out on that green light. Just send it out as love. And if it doesn't feel like love, that's okay. That's why this is a practice. Also an opportunity to let go, to forgive yourself, to forgive someone who maybe you've been meaning to forgive and haven't quite gotten around to it. Even just setting that intention of taking a breath and exhaling and sending out love and forgiveness can be a step in that process of healing and forgiveness. All right, so moving on now to the higher three chakras, the first one, the fifth chakra, the throat chakra. So inhaling into the center of the throat, or inhaling and just noticing, being aware of the center of the throat. Male identified folks tend to have like the Adam's apple here. And even I have, there's something here that kind of tells me, okay, this is where like my larynx and my voice box and whatnot is. Stuff is happening. Sound is originating from here. So if you want, you can kind of touch the center of your throat. Just, give it a little love, give it a little touch. And just be aware of that space. And as you exhale, imagine a brilliant blue light radiating from the center of your throat. Inhaling. As you exhale, I communicate clearly and authentically. I communicate clearly and authentically. Inhaling, imagining that blue light, clear and translucent, radiating out, allowing you to express your truest self. If you want to practice like a lion's breath, this is really good for clearing out the throat and the throat chakra. And yoga philosophy would tell you it's even good for your thyroid if you have any kind of thyroid issues. to stick out the tongue. We'll take a deep breath through the nose, stick out the tongue, and really just push the air out. Try to make your tongue kind of like undulate. So breathing in through the nose, sticking out the tongue, just opening the mouth as wide as you can, bringing the tongue out long, and just clearing out the throat, letting that air just sort of vibrate through all the way from the back of the throat out. I communicate clearly and authentically. When you're ready, moving on to the 6th chakra, the third eye chakra. This is nice to do with your eyes closed. So not that you have to, but if your eyes are closed, look with your eyes. I mean this kind of figuratively, right? Because your eyes are closed, but look or just be aware of that space between your eyes. And breathe into that space. Imagine a very focused, indigo colored light originating from that space between your eyes, the eye that goes beyond sight, some would say. And imagine that indigo light just emanating out, very focused, very clear. Inhaling deeply. I am wise, intuitive, and I trust myself completely. I am wise, intuitive, and I trust myself completely. So breathe into that space between your eyes and notice if you feel anything, any sensation there. If it feels a little tight or maybe it's hard to kind of feel it, maybe scrunch your eyes and your forehead a few times and then relax and release them. And just continue to bring your attention to that space. Inhaling, noticing at this point also just how you feel in general. Maybe do a scan of your body, starting with the third eye and moving down the spine, down the shoulders, the arms, into the fingertips. Inhaling into the back and down the back. Checking in with your lower back and your hips and your glutes. Noticing your thighs and your hamstrings, your knees, your shins and calves, and your feet. Inhaling, bringing attention to the body. Exhaling, relaxing, releasing, letting go. Inhaling, noticing any thoughts, any feelings. Exhaling, relaxing, releasing, bringing the focus back to the breath and the present moment. The last chakra, the crown chakra, at the very, very top of the head. You could imagine if there was a string, if someone tied a string to the top of your head and pulled it up to the sky, that's the spot where the crown chakra is. So inhaling through the top of the head, exhaling, imagining a brilliant, maybe translucent purple light, yellow light, white light, whatever sort of comes up for you or feels good for you. Imagine this bright light radiating from the crown of your head all the way up into the heavens, the universe, whatever you imagine is up, maybe into infinity. Inhaling, I am divine and connected to all that is. Or maybe you want to vary that for what fits best for you and your personal spirituality. I am connected. I am divine and connected. I am divine and connected to all that is. And as you inhale, really try to feel the energy around your body. So chakras are energy centers. So we're all made of energy. The planet, the universe is made of energy. So just take a moment and try to feel the energy around your body. I hope, well, I'm feeling kind of like a buzzing right now. I think my energy is pretty high from doing this meditation. But for you, just take a moment to kind of tune into how the energy around your body feels. And I'm going to share one last practice that I like to use. And actually, a counselor of mine taught me this, and I've used it for years now. When we begin to get attached to feelings, which Dr. Palomara, my counselor, would tell me, we don't really get attached to feelings, that feelings only last generally a matter of seconds. But what happens is we attach thoughts. We attach, right, our conceptualization of how this relates to our past or fears we have about these feelings moving forward in the future. And so we process our feelings horizontally, right? Past, present, future. And it tends to make the feelings last a long time, or longer maybe than sometimes we would like them to. So she taught me this skill, which is basically when I have an emotion that comes up that maybe feels overwhelming, or that I want to process and work through, but maybe be careful about getting attached to: anxiety, sadness, anger. You could probably do it for any feeling that comes up for you. To breathe into the feeling and scan your body down your chakras, basically just scan from the root to the crown and just sort of feel where you feel that feeling. Where do I feel the anger? Where do I feel the fear? And what I find is by doing that, sometimes it really makes the feeling sort of just dissipate, or at least it kind of decreases the intensity. And sometimes what it does is it makes me aware of like where I'm kind of holding it in my body. You know, when I breathe into maybe feeling sad, it's like, oh, I have my hip. And then I might do some yoga postures to open my hips up. So, all right. So let's take maybe a couple last deep breaths. Feeling into your body, maybe bringing a little movement wherever feels good, a little twist, a little head nod, a little opening and closing of the shoulders. And inhaling deeply and exhaling, opening your eyes when you're ready. And I'm actually not sure. Dr. Machuca, is this supposed to go just 30 minutes, or can I keep going maybe a little longer?
I think that you can go a little longer, and then,
Okay.
participants have the freedom to move on. But normally we have been doing it for an hour.
Okay.
But if you need to take a little bit more time within the hour, it's fine.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. So so I know that I'll be done by 2, but so we might go like 1:45 or 1:50 or so. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, and so like I was saying at the beginning too, that is the visualization practice. So that is a like, you know, that bit is complete. So if you have somewhere you got to go, or you want to just, take a little nap or relax a little bit, enjoy the benefits of the meditation, please feel free. For those of you who want to stick around, I'm going to share these reflective questions and a little bit more about the yoga. What are maybe some postures that you can do to work on each of the chakras? Are there any questions or anything before I get into that?
So,
Okay.
Dr. Shure, I have a quick question. So
Sure.
the chakras go along with a color?
Yes. So there is a color associated with each chakra. And yeah, because I mean, this is an ancient system of holistic health. So there's a lot associated with each chakra. So, there's a Sanskrit word and a symbol and a sound. And so this is really like a stripped down version, but there's, yes, definitely a color associated with each one. So you can see it here, and I'll share this too. So you'll have this information if you want.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Shure, it's Javier. A quick question. In terms of the chakras and the meditation, sitting up versus laying down, any advice or?
Ooh, good question. Because I think, in general, mindfulness practices some people, I've had meditation teachers tell me before that you can generally get more deep in the meditation if that's your goal, like as with a lot of like mindfulness practices, right? Sort of that like just getting to know your inner self a little bit more, that you tend to be able to go deeper, or most people can go deeper when they're sitting up. But if you're doing it for relaxation, like why not lay down or be in whatever position is most comfortable for you? That's how I
Okay.
think about it. Yeah. So I think it depends what you want from it. But for relaxation, I mean, and sometimes too, when I teach yoga, when people are in Shavasana, because well, I won't get too much into the yoga philosophy because I could talk about that for hours, but what we often consider yoga in the US and a lot of Western culture is really just one aspect of what yoga really is. It's the asanas or the postures. And really the postures were designed to help us to be able to sit in meditation, to be enlightened, right? To get in touch with our spirituality. So when I do yoga classes, a lot of times, you know, when the class is over and everyone's in the Shavasana, you know, kind of doing the ending meditation, I love to like put bolsters under their knees or put like a little pillow under their heads, you know, like really let people just relax, you know, if that's what your goal is.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Great question. Anything else before I get started with this? Okay. So the root chakra. So feel free to, if you want to get out a piece of paper, even better if you have a journal or something like a sacred space that you like to write in. I have my journal here, or on your computer, even your phone, to take some notes. Now, I do want to say, you know, these are pretty deep questions. So it's possible that you could become triggered, or stuff could come up for you, because I'm going to be asking you questions about when and where you feel loved and loving and where you feel safe and secure. So if anything comes up for you, I will stay after the session's over, and you know, we can kind of talk about it. So I just always like to put that out there because sometimes that does happen. And take care of yourself, right? This is Wellness Week. This is why we're here. So I'm going to walk you through this reflective practice or process. And I'm also going to share these slides because I think for a lot of people, they want to have more time with some chakras more than others, right? Like you might be able to answer the questions about the root chakra really quickly, but then when you get to the sacral chakra, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I want to think about this. So I want to let you know that this is just like a first step. And especially if this isn't like a system that you're familiar with, the chakra system, or maybe you haven't reflected on some of these areas before. Okay, so I just want to put that disclaimer out there. So getting started with the root chakra, take a moment and think about physical and emotional safety and security. So I know a lot of you out there are counselors and training to be counselors. So, you know, when I'm doing counseling work, but just in my life in general, I always think about physical safety and emotional safety. And then if you want to just jot down some notes, where and how do you feel most safe and secure? And then I just have some examples, right? And these are just examples, right? This is really, you know, and I encourage you to again, don't get so lost in kind of your ego and your thought process. Just kind of put down whatever comes up for you, even if it maybe sounds kind of bizarre to you. There might be something there, right? That's useful. So where and how do you feel most safe and secure? And where and how would you like to feel more safe and secure? So I use this, I created like a 90-minute session, which has this reflective process and then a yoga session basically to work on the areas. So for example, you might identify that I want to feel more safe and secure in my body. And so after doing the reflective process, there's like a yoga class that balances and clears out the chakras. And so if this is an area where you're saying, oh, I really want to do some work on the root chakra, then you can do some postures, right? That will help you just be more aware of that area, maybe, you know, work through and process some energy around there. All right. So where and how would you like to feel more safe and secure? And then here are some of the poses. So just very, very simple. I can't see myself, so let me make sure you can kind of see me of what I'm doing. So very, very simple for the root chakra, because sometimes I do this as a chair yoga session. Sometimes I do it in person or virtual. So really for the root chakra, even just inhaling, bringing your arms up, and exhaling, bringing your arms down wide. And then if you're out of your chair, you can do a tree pose. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see me do this, but basically standing on one leg, bringing your foot to your ankle or your thigh, you know, maybe we'll do that in a next session. I can actually do the yoga class, but for chair yoga, for our sake, right? You can inhale, look up, feel the energy from the tip of the tailbone to the tip of the fingers, and exhale, bringing the arms down wide. And then you can see the mantra that we use, the visualization, some scents that are good for grounding. So if you have anxiety or panic attacks, or maybe you have a client that does, a student, these are some scents that are good grounding scents. And then there are some self-care practices, right, that are also good to help us with issues around safety, security, and groundedness. Okay. So moving on to the sacral chakra, what are your favorite creative activities? How do you like to express yourself? And I want you to think about creativity really broadly here. And if you start to have thoughts of, oh, I'm not creative, oh, I'm not good at art, I'm not whatever, that's okay. Just breathe and just imagine that orange wave, right? That flowing, that wave, just washing those limiting beliefs away, and just focus back on, you know, what is it that brings you joy or peace? What is it that makes you feel creative or fulfilled creatively? Think broadly about this. I love to cook. That for me is a creative activity. In what ways would you like to express yourself further and engage in creative endeavors? And again, please think broadly about creativity here. We are creative beings, right? We arguably create our lives, right? By the decisions that we make each and every day. We're creating our lives. In what ways would you like to express yourself further and engage in creative endeavors? And a good posture for, so this is the sacral chakra is between the hips. So I'm going to turn the camera down just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Like I mentioned during the meditation, this is a space where we tend to hold a lot of emotion. Sometimes, you know, people get tight hips often. So a good posture for this is, you know, pick up one foot if you're able to, and place like the ball of your foot onto your thigh. And you can push, see, like kind of push down on your knee as much as is comfortable for you. And inhale, open the chest. And exhale, you can bend over if it's comfortable. You should feel like a nice yummy stretch on the back of your, kind of like the back of your hip, kind of like the top back part of your thigh. Or you can sit up and just breathe into that space. And you can see, so the sacral chakra is also associated with enjoying pleasurable things without guilt, experiencing pleasure without guilt, our sensuality and our sexuality as well, and being able to enjoy those aspects of us, because that is a part of who we are as human beings, without guilt or shame. And you can see there's some lovely sensual scents. I love jasmine, rose, orange, citrus can be really nice for this. So these are some scents that can kind of help you, right, kind of get into that creative sensual space. And you can see there's some self-care practices for you there. And of course, in yoga, whatever you do on one side of the body, make sure you do on the other. So if you were stretching out your hip with the pigeon, make sure that you do it on both sides. And we'll move on to the solar plexus chakra. So reflect upon your personal power. When and where, right? How, when, where, whatever question works, do you feel most powerful? And I want you to also think about power in a very broad way. You know, how do you experience your own personal power? Actually, I think, okay, that's my next question. Describe your personal power. So with children, sometimes I would have them draw like themselves as a superhero. And I think as adults, it's kind of a fun thing to think about too, right? What are your superpowers? Like literally, we all have superpowers, right? I'm a counselor, I'm an educator, I'm a lover, I'm a friend, I'm, you know, a caretaker. I'm a singer, I'm a yogi, right? What are all of the various ways that you experience your personal power? So I encourage you to be creative with this too. Maybe write like your own story of yourself as a superhero, or draw yourself, or maybe just a list of words, right? Whatever feels right. So when do you feel most powerful? And describe your personal power. And I have some examples here. Some would say, I think a lot of people would say love is a superpower, right? Having this ability to be compassionate and forgive and love and be vulnerable. So I really want you to reflect on this and just allow this to wash over you, your personal power. And as I mentioned during the meditation, some good postures to activate the solar plexus chakra are going to be twists. So really the most basic, simple twist is just going to be, you can turn to one side. So if you turn to the left, if you have like an armrest or something, the bottom of the chair even that you can grab onto, put your hands on something that you can use as leverage. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale and twist and look over your left shoulder. You never want to force, but you just want to feel a yummy stretch, probably in your low back, up your spine, maybe through your shoulders. And take a few breaths there and then go the other direction. Inhale, lengthen the spine all the way from the tip of the tailbone to the crown of the head. And exhale and twist. And inhale and lengthen, and exhale and come back forward. And you can see the activating scents, like eucalyptus is probably my favorite one for activating. Like when I need energy, like screw coffee, I'm gonna put some eucalyptus in my diffuser. And I also like to put like a couple drops on my wrist and, kind of put it on like my pressure points so I can smell it. And then some activating things too, right? Like really any kind of like exercise, I think that's going to make you feel powerful and really use your muscles could be good for this. Warm ginger tea. Ginger is also very activating. Good for energy. Okay. So the heart chakra, when, where, how, who, why, not why, but the other ones, when and where do you feel most loved and loving? And in what ways would you like to experience more love and loving? So those of you who know me, I think I know most of you know that, my little dog Yogi, he would come to school with me and I think many of you knew him. So I would like to experience more love and loving because I am ready to adopt another pup. So that for me is on my list. So when and where, really, I encourage you to just tune into, and even like maybe, breathe into your heart chakra. When, feel that feeling of like openness in your heart. When and how and where do you feel that? For me in nature, when I'm in the ocean, I feel like I'm being cradled by like Mother Ocean, right? Where do you feel most love and loving, and how, and what ways would you like to experience more love and loving? And lavender is my favorite connecting scent, but you can see kind of some of the floral scents are very nice for that. I think rose is a nice connecting scent too. And then one posture that's really good to open the chest is literally just, right, you can put your hands, if you have an armrest or just kind of next to you is like a second kind of spine to support your spine. And inhale, bring your shoulders back like you're trying to touch your shoulder blades and look up. And exhale, round the spine. You can even interlace your fingers or just kind of bring your hands out in front of you and curl your spine the other direction. So inhale and flex your spine one way, and exhale and flex it the other way. And sometimes too, like, massaging that place in your heart, the center of your chest, the heart chakra, giving yourself a hug. What are sort of ways that you can love on yourself? Heart opening yoga postures are good for that. Okay, so moving on to the throat chakra. When and where are you able to communicate most authentically? When do you feel just like you can just be your true authentic self and it's like no big thing, you're totally comfortable? When and where are you able to communicate most authentically? And I would say be your most authentic self, right? Just feel kind of in the flow of life and yourself. And in what ways would you like to communicate more authentically? And I think same kind of thing, you can think too about, like, in what spaces and what ways would you like to slip into more of your most authentic self? To bring maybe more of yourself, be more present, express yourself more fully. So something very simple for this is just doing like a neck roll. Make sure you do both directions. You can also bring your chin to your chest and exhale, look up, and inhale, drop, and exhale. And the lion's breath that we did during the meditation is really good for the throat chakra. Ooh, and lemongrass is my favorite sort of like inspiring opening scent. Journaling, speaking your truth, right? These are great ways to work on the throat chakra. Okay. So third eye, reflect upon all of the ways that you are wise and intuitive. I think all parents, right, have special wisdom and intuition just as a function of that experience. Think about the training, the life experiences, think about your identities, the intersection of your identities and how, you know, what that has taught you about life, how that has made you wise and intuitive. What are all of the ways that you are wise and intuitive? I think about being a woman. I have certain wisdom and intuition being a woman. Being a counselor. Reflect upon the ways you may doubt your intuition. So one of the reasons why I think I was very attracted to the chakra system and yoga is because it doesn't separate out mental health from physical health from spiritual health. It's all holistic, right? Everything is one and the same. Health is health. And that's a very indigenous, and I'm going to say, I think ancient, you know, there are a lot of ancient, especially Eastern traditions that, if you look at Chinese medicine, right, that have that framework. In Western medicine, we compartmentalize, right, mental health from physical health. And I think, unfortunately, part of what happens is we don't always get encouragement to follow our intuition, to develop our spiritual, even psychological, emotional selves, right? I mean, we do that, right, as counselors and educators. So reflect on the ways that maybe you doubt or you don't always trust your intuition. And along with that, how will you continue to develop your self-trust and intuition? And there are many ways we can do this. And I think as counselors and educators, we help people with this all the time. And so this is an opportunity for us to take our own advice, right? And to think about what we would like to do to further develop our self-trust and intuition. I use a lot of affirmations myself, yoga. I try to sit in meditation for at least 10 minutes every day. It doesn't always happen. Rosemary, frankincense are good clearing scents. I love frankincense. I have that, and I have rosemary too that I like to use. Sometimes when I want to concentrate, I'll use the rosemary, like if I'm trying to write or, you know, grade papers or whatever it is. And really, I don't think there's a posture so much for this, but I do have, and some of you know this meditation because if you've had class with me before, you've probably done it, the Wise Person Guide visualization. So doing a visualization where you're sort of imagining your highest self or yourself as a wise person, or there are probably, you know, infinite ways that you could do it, but anything that really facilitates that development, right? Of you like trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, you know, developing your wisdom. And lastly, describe your personal spirituality and any spiritual practices you engage in. And maybe you don't, and that's fine too, right? So describe your personal spirituality, and you might say like, none, I'm an atheist, or I'm not sure, I don't know. So describe your personal spirituality and any spiritual practices you engage in, if you do. And what makes you feel spiritually fulfilled? What, if anything, would you like to do to deepen your spirituality? So I also want to encourage you to think about spirituality very broadly, because I think about the definition of spirituality being what brings us purpose and meaning, something larger than ourselves. So something larger than myself, by the way, is CSI, is the counseling program, is all of you that I have relationships with. So we all define spirituality differently. And I just want to put that out there, right? That I want to encourage you to think about it in whatever way feels right for you, and as broadly as you want to, or as narrowly. And I just want to give you an opportunity to reflect on, what does your spirituality consist of? Do you engage in any practices? And when, maybe most importantly, when do you feel fulfilled? And, if you don't like the word spiritually fulfilled, when do you feel like you have the most purpose and meaning? When do you feel maybe most fulfilled in your life? However you define that. And what would you like to do to deepen your spirituality? I think I mentioned earlier, I started taking a Kabbalah class recently because actually a former student of mine who now is a professor and, doing her own thing, said to me, I wonder what it is about you that makes you so curious in these other religions, but you don't know much about your own. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's so right. So I love mysticism, and I have studied mysticism in various cultures, but I didn't know anything about Jewish mysticism. And that was the tradition that I was raised in. So I started taking this Kabbalah course, and it's been a beautiful experience so far. And this can be very broad, right? Taking walks in nature, taking walks, period, spending time with your kids, your dog. We can volunteering, we can get spiritual fulfillment so many different ways. So, so there's that. And really breathing, meditation, mindfulness are probably the best ways to work on the crown chakra. And you can see there are some calming and transcending scents, frankincense, vanilla, and anything really spiritually related, anything that makes you feel connected, purposeful, meaningful, right, can be considered, I think, practices that are useful for the crown chakra. So these are questions, if you're interested, if you got into this and maybe you even want to go back and spend a little bit more time on at least some of the chakras. This is kind of just an ending reflection. What chakras and systems of the body feel most open and balanced? Did you kind of notice that there was one that just felt really like, I feel so clear and open and balanced in, my root and my sacral chakra, but I feel a little anxiety or a little kind of tightness in my solar plexus chakra, right? So what systems of the body feel really open, balanced, feel kind of like vital, alive, energized, balanced, good, however you want to say it? And what chakras or systems of the body would you like to take better care of? Because I hope that, and when I've done this session before, especially the 90-minute one where you do the reflective practice and then you do the yoga practice, what I find is that people identify something that they want to work on, right? Like, oh, I need to take better care of my shoulders, or I need to eat better for my gut. So is there any system of the body that you're reflecting on and you're saying, I would like to maybe make one change to take better care of my knees, or my heart, or whatever it is? And then how will you do this, right? What's maybe one thing that you will do to take care of yourself? And then kind of a broader question, what ideas do you have for maintaining balance in your chakras in life? And, oh, I forgot that I added this. Well, I guess we have like 1 minute. So if you all want to, this is the last thing that I have. I set up this poll everywhere. So if you want to share one word to express your experience in this session, or maybe one thing that was like the most important thing that you got out of it, one word, I would love to hear it. So you can text my name, right? Lauren Shure 030 to 22333. So that's the number, 22333, or you can go to the website, the link. Yeah, and then that's all I had. So I will definitely stick around. So if anyone has like a question or wants to chat, I'll stick around for a little bit. And thank you for spending this time with me and each other and yourselves.
Thank you, Lauren. Thanks so much. All right.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here. Oh, you're so welcome, everyone. Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it. Awareness. Nice. So I'll leave this up in case people, I know people are going and that's, oh, you're welcome. Raul, thank you. I really enjoyed doing this. Oh, you know what? Let me stop recording. Oh, I don't think I can stop the recording. I think it just goes till we log off. Oh, you're so welcome. All right, well, I'm gonna head out then. If you're good, Leslie.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
good. Enjoy. I hope you feel relaxed. So I hope you enjoy the benefits of the meditation.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Gotta
right,
go.
take care. Bye, Leslie. Bye, Guillermo.
Bye.
Bye, Dr. Shure. Thank you.